I think it's true about history that you don't notice it happening while you're living it. At least most people don't. So you don't realize the bigger picture. If you can look back over the past century and see all the stupid mistakes that were done, and we're doubling down on those stupid mistakes. We're not trying to get better as human beings. 3/4 of the population walking around the streets with these stupid devices, tripping over things, bumping into people because they can't put down their screen for 2 minutes and stand to be in the real world for 2 or 3 minutes, to talk with a fellow human being, to converse, to exchange ideas. No, it's all through the screen. All of your ideas must be presented on screen. Otherwise, they're not valid. People don't know how to talk with one another anymore, to communicate, to love, to dance, it's all being lost. Our humanity is all being sucked into the industrial commercial vortex. It's being stuffed in there into ever smaller and more cramped electronic spaces. And what do? Not much. I think I'll turn on my device. I have to live with my device. I can't go outside for 5 minutes without my device. Are people forgetting to just sit and enjoy the beauty of a simple sunset, of a walk in the park without looking at your screens, of breathing what little fresh air there is left, of appreciating what's around us and the people that are around us and the important things that matter in life? We need more time as human beings. We need more time to develop as human beings, to develop a moral structure in our lives, to develop what we believe spiritually, what we believe materially, what we believe generally. It all has to be figured out. And if people are being fed false and bad information constantly, and horrible, terrible things going on and nobody paying any attention, the media that nobody trusts anymore, and why should anybody trust them? They've been lied to so many times, and then they're shocked when a demagogue like Trump comes along and starts screaming fake news, shut down the press he doesn't like. So what do they tell you on the news? What information that benefits you personally in your life do they tell you on mainstream media, or even on YouTube for that matter? What is your life gaining? If your life isn't gaining something, if you're not getting something out of it, then why bother? If you're losing yourself in the screen, then maybe you've just got to put down the screen. I don't have a screen. I don't have a cell phone. Believe it or not, somebody in our culture, I have a landline and I have a desktop computer. I used to have a laptop too, but I spilled orange juice on it and that was the end of that one. So I like that it allows me to control the amount of time I spend online. And sure, we all get wrapped up in things we do online. For me, I like playing with graphic programs and things and figuring stuff out, and I can get lost for a few hours at a time, and then I come off and go, what's going on in my life? I got too sucked into the vortex, and I got to limit my use of technology for my own sanity. I used to constantly be in the library, and even the fact of having to go out to the library and research things was added to the pleasure of life. Everything not being instant. Now I sound like a real old fart, miss the horse and buggy days. Well, maybe the horse and buggy days had some things that were better than now, some things that were worse. Every time has its challenges. Every era presents every generation with new challenges that they have to face. And each year these challenges seem to become more and more pressing and difficult, and more put on a shelf to worry about when it happens, after it happens. They surround themselves with sycophants that will tell them what they want to hear, that won't challenge anything. Any rigid beliefs, erroneous though they may be, are not challenged. And the more isolated we all become, there's a danger we all become rigid. Being open-minded is one of the most important things right now. Being able to see outside of your own ego. This is difficult for many people. It's difficult because of the culture that we were brought up in. It just is. There has been an effect of dumbing down of the population in some ways. I wouldn't even call it dumbing down. I would say a form of mass hypnosis to keep people isolated from each other, to keep people lonely. Loneliness is a huge epidemic. Billions of people living on a rapidly shrinking planet. And yet loneliness, that emptiness inside, is an epidemic. It makes people miserable. Maybe that's why the media pushes it so much. Maybe that's why they know how to push the little buttons so you can keep on doing what you're doing, and it's like playing in a slot machine, and you want to see how many likes you get, and you want to feel somehow enabled by going on these things and then putting up pictures of your ultimate life, which is so wonderful that everybody else will be envious of it. Are we encouraging this kind of mental masturbation? I think we are as a culture, and I think we're in deep, deep trouble and in deep, deep denial. Earth will soon become uninhabitable. Large portions of the earth uninhabitable. Fish die-offs by the millions. Radiation from Fukushima. Global warming from millions and millions of vehicles. From countries that are still burning coal. And there's no will to change it. No will to tackle the expense that it might be. I think this sense of denial was set into motion 40 or 50 years ago. At that time, even back when I was a kid in the 60s, we knew what pollution was doing. You could see what smog was like in cities like Los Angeles. It hasn't improved over most of the world. It has gotten worse because more people, more fossil fuels. If we'd begun transitioning from fossil fuels in the 1970s, things would be very different. If only there had been some sort of enlightenment. But no, it's the same appeal to the constantly craving ego that never has enough. And it promotes it as a lifestyle. They have robbed us of our humanity. We need to take it back. As human beings, as sisters and brothers, we all need to take back our humanity. We have enormous challenges in front of us. I weep for young people. I literally weep for young people growing up what's going to be left for them? Will have used it all up, including possibly the oxygen that we breathe. Anyway, that's my rant for tonight. It's been really one of those days today where things just don't go right. So I sat here and I bitched about things that are on my mind. And so I would really wish all of you a very happy day today, and to get outside if you can stand the heat, get outside. If you can smile at somebody, just try it. You know, sometimes people won't smile back, and I'm in a store and I'll smile at somebody. If they don't smile back, I'll just sort of nod and go, okay. And then they look, what's that guy thinking? I bet he's up to something. He smiled at me. What does that mean? Maybe he's a sexual pervert. Or worse, a hippie. But that doesn't happen. Most of the time people smile back, and I like to engage people, talk to people. It's getting harder. People are getting more isolated, and they're getting more caught up in things. And we're worried. We're all desperately worried for the future. What else can we be? Well, in spite of all my difficulties with computer and everything else, the nice local computer store set me up really well. I don't know how much longer it'll work for, but he didn't charge me hardly anything. He's a refugee immigrant, for all you people that are worried about immigrants taking your jobs. He came here and set up a little store and is a very honest, decent human being. So much for stereotypes, eh? I wish all of you a wonderful, wonderful week, and I will talk to you very soon. Be well, everyone. Look after each other. And remember, first and foremost, let's all remember how to be human, how to be decent